So Nintendo's current strategy of how they've been going back into their Nintendo Switch game library and bringing some free content updates for both the Nintendo Switch 1 and the Switch 2 versions, along with some paid updates to have the Nintendo Switch 2 editions, along with some other things going on right now, is making your Switch games more valuable than ever. Now, the latest update that Nintendo just brought us is for Donkey Kong Country Returns HD, and this is bringing additional content to both the Nintendo Switch 1 version and also adding a free Switch 2 update. Now, this is adding in Dixie Kong as a playable character, and it's also adding in a new turbo mode, which is really cool that we're getting additional content in the game. And of course, it's getting that free Switch 2 upgrade, which is going to enhance the visuals and add game share to this as well. So if you have friends who don't own the game and you want to play with them, now that's something you can do with game share, which is really cool as well. But the fact that Nintendo continues to go back into their Switch library and give us these free updates like they just did with Donkey Kong Country Returns HD highlights the fact that this is a strategy that they are going to keep doing. And if you really think about it from a gamer perspective, if you have a Switch 2 now and you already own these games, especially if they're in your backlog or even if they're games that you just would like to replay, this definitely increases the value because now you're getting to experience these games with better resolution, better frame rates, and in some cases, even free additional content or maybe even some paid DLC. Either way, it's really cool to be getting these updates, especially if they're not taking development time or resources away from other games, which I don't think they are, because I've heard that in most cases, these Switch 2 free upgrades or paid upgrades are outsourced to outside studios. But the fact that these games are getting these free updates, which in some cases include additional content, I think is only going to make these games hold their value. And in some cases, who knows, maybe even increase their value because it is going to increase demand for these games, which is a really good thing. So I think in this case, kind of everybody wins here, whether you're just looking to own your games and play them, you get, free content, some cases paid, but still good. And even for people who want their games to hold their value from a financial standpoint, I don't think this is going to make your game skyrocket or anything, but I think it does help your games hold value as well, which is another good thing. And just some other factors that I believe are going to make your Switch games hold their value at the very least, or possibly increase in value, is just the fact that it's no secret that a lot of these game publishers in the industry are trying to get away from physical games and push more towards an all-digital future. I mean, we already see that with the Nintendo Switch 2, how a lot of companies are unwilling to invest into true game cartridges because they're more expensive. So they would rather just put their games on a key card, which really doesn't cost them anything. But honestly, we were seeing that even before the Switch 2, with certain publishers making Switch 1 games that would launch with a true cartridge, and then after a while they would completely stop printing those cartridges and just put out codes in the box. One publisher that I know did that a lot is Ubisoft. They did that with the Mario plus Rabbids titles. They did that with their Prince of Persia game and some other titles as well. I know another random game they did that with, not Ubisoft, but whatever the publisher was Super Lucky's Tale, New Super Lucky's Tale. That game launched in a cartridge and then they stopped printing the cartridge and instead put out code in boxes. So I think the fact that the industry in general is trying to get more away from physical games definitely increases the value of physical games as well, because they become harder to obtain and they're just looking more valuable from people who truly want their games in a true physical format. Along with the increasing price of RAM, we know that the Switch 2 cartridges cost a lot more to produce now. And I just think that all these factors combined is definitely making your physical cartridge games like Nintendo Switch 1 and Switch 2 games more valuable than ever. So I would definitely caution people to hold off and really think about what physical games mean to you right now before you just trade them off or sell them off, because they definitely are holding more value than ever these days. But since we were on the topic of Switch 2 upgrades, I just wanted to highlight like 5 games that I would absolutely love to see get some Switch 2 upgrades, whether paid or free. I mean, I'd prefer if they were just free, like, increased resolutions and frame rates. But the first games that I wanted to highlight are the Xenoblade Chronicle games, all of them, Xenoblade 1, 2, 2 Torna, Xenoblade 3, because I've played Xenoblade X, but I still haven't played the mainline Xenoblade games. I know I'm slacking. I really want to play them ASAP, but it would be really nice to just get some Switch 2 upgrades for them. And then the next game I would love a Switch 2 upgrade for, I have played this game quite a bit, is Fire Emblem Three Houses. This is my #1 favorite Nintendo Switch game of all time, so I would love to see this game get a Switch 2 upgrade, along with Fire Emblem Engage as well, because I love this game as well. Really good game. One of the best looking Nintendo Switch games. Imagine how good it would look with that Switch 2 upgrade. That would be really nice. And then another one that I haven't played yet, Fire Emblem Three Hopes. Now, this is a Warriors game, so along with this, I would love to see the Hyrule Warriors games that we got on the Switch get some free Switch 2 upgrades as well. And it would be cool to see Atlus and Sega just go ahead and give us a Switch 2 upgrade for Shin Megami Tensei 5 Vengeance. This is one of my favorite turn-based JRPGs, a phenomenal looking game. I was actually impressed with how the game looked and ran on the Switch compared to the vanilla version, actually. But yeah, I would definitely love to see these games get the Switch 2 upgrade. So those are my picks for that. But anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please help me out in the algorithm by hitting that like button, hit that hype button. And if you're not already and you enjoy Nintendo Switch and Switch 2 content, please feel free to subscribe, and I will definitely catch you all on the next one.